everyone. Welcome to Wing Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've decided to join me today. Today we're going to do our 5th set of alternatives for the April 2026 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Lakeside Retreat. Here are the 9 adorable cards that you could have made had you done this kit as intended. But as you know, we don't do as intended around here, so we're going to change things up a bit. So, let me get our first one out, and as I do this, if I could ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I would love to have you join us, and hit that like button and leave me a comment. Okay, so we're going to start with a card base here of pecan pie, and this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I have scored this at, let me see what I scored it at. 2 7/8 and let's see, 2 7/8 and 8 1/4. And we fold this in on itself like this. We have this gatefold card. So let's give this a good burnish so we can make sure that it lays nice and flat. Okay. Now, we've got a piece of basic white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to put that right there. I took this piece that came in the kit of this wood grain paper, and I trimmed this down into 2 pieces that are 2 1/2 by 4. And we are going to use these as our first layer here on the outside of our card. So, let's go ahead and get these 2 put down. So we'll just put a little glue on this side. And I'm just going to try to center this up the best I can on this right side panel. And we'll do a little glue here. And we'll get this one down on the left side. Let's see, something kind of like that looks pretty good. We'll give this a nice press. Make sure that the glue takes hold. Okay, on the outside then, we got this piece. These 2 pieces came in the kit. So this pecan pie circle and then this little house on the lake, little scene. So we're going to put that go right inside of our pecan pie circle. So a little bit of glue on the back of this, and we will center this up inside of our circle here. So kind of like that. And we are going to then put this on the outside here. I'm going to center it up. So kind of just like that. Looks pretty good. But I'm only going to glue the left-hand side. So I'm just going to put my fingers here so that I know I have to keep glue to the left side of my finger. Because we don't want to glue our card shut, because that would be heartbreaking. And awful, because we're working so hard. Why would we want to glue our masterpiece together? Alright, so I'm just going to make sure that we don't have any stray glue back there. It looks like we're good. Now, we've got this little piece of wood grain that came in the paper like this, or came in the kit. We used this in our last card to make a signpost, but we're going to use it today just to make a sentiment piece. So, we are going to stamp in pecan pie ink, and on the front in our little wood grain piece here, we're going to use the stamp that says, "You're an inspiration," and this came in the kit. So let me just ink this up. And then I'll line this up on the glass mat so that hopefully I can get it straight. I'm going to stamp not quite to the left-hand side. I'm going to leave a little bit of space because we're going to, like, I don't know, cut it off or banner it or something. I haven't quite decided. So we'll make a decision here in just a second. So let me get this down. Sometimes it's hard for me to get the little stamp onto that little piece. Alright, looks like we did okay there. Yep, alright, so you're an inspiration. Now, put that to the side for a second. We're also going to do, on the inside, we're going to stamp with Happy Father's Day. So let me ink that up. And, oops, I'll line this up. And we'll just get this right down here at the top. Hopefully straight. Okay, not too bad. All right, we'll put the ink away. Okay, so let's get our inside piece down, and then we will finish the outside. It's going to come together relatively quickly, which is nice. It's always nice when you start with a kit and you get these nice focal pieces that can do most of the work for you. Alright, so I'm going to close that back up. Now, I'm going to take our little You're an Inspiration piece here, and I'm trying to decide, do we want to angle it or do we want to... Let's just angle. So I'm just going to take this and kind of cut this on the diagonal. I'm going to flip this around, basically cut the same way. So then we've got our little sentiment piece right there. Okay, we are going to pop that up on a mini dimensional or two, or maybe three. We'll see. I think I'm only going to do two because the far, oops, let's put this one on the other edge. This edge is going to hang off the our circle piece, and I don't think we need to, you know, close our card shut. So that's what would happen if we put a piece there. So that looks good, just like that. Okay, now we're going to use the bling that came in the kit. And these are some interesting looking, they almost look like river rock, which I guess is what they're probably supposed to be, or although it's a lake and not a river, but you know, I guess we don't have to be very literal. But they look like rocks. So we're going to use them because that's what came in the kit. And they are pecan pie in nature, and so they match our card base. So let me see if I can get this off of here. Oh my goodness, it does not want to come off and play. There we, whoops, I almost had it. Oh my goodness, come on off the glass mat. Let's see if I can work on some more putty here. There we go, got it. Now, where are we going to put it? Let's see. Let's put one right there. And one here. And we'll do a third one if I can get it off. Here we go. Where? I guess we'll just put it right there. There we go. Too cute. Alright, let's do our second card. So we're going to move our river rock out of the way here. This one we're going to start with a card base of Misty Moonlight. That is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a nice burnish. And then we've got a piece of white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. I've got half of one of these card bases here that's 4 by 5 1/4. I've cut it down. And we are going to do a landscape card. So let me turn all of this around so we're in the right direction. And we've got some blue twine or blue linen thread or whatever you want to call this. It's a very thin material. And we are going to take our half of our card base here, and I'm going to wrap it in the edge of this in this blue twine. So I cut off maybe, I don't know. Let's see how much of this we've got. To about 3 feet of this twine. And what I want to do is I want to grab a piece of tearing tape, and I'm going to put a little bit of that right here. And we're going to burnish that. I'm going to take the backing off. I'm going to start our twine just right there. So that's going to hold that down for us. And then we're just going to wrap the edge of our card here. And it doesn't have to be anything, you know, too uniform or anything like that. So just whatever you want that kind of looks nice. You can do it all kind of like this, which is what I think I'm going to do, just because we're going to cover part of that up. So then you're going to take the edge, push that down again into our tear tape. I'm going to trim the end here. We're going to take a second piece of tear tape, and we're going to go right back over this again. Now that's going to help keep that twine secure. And we'll peel that off, and which will also help us to secure the whole thing to our card base. So let's put glue on the rest of it. And in the corners for sure. And I'm just going to line this up right in here. Center that up. Hopefully we can get it straight. We need to be careful because the tear tape is going to stick. So let me try to do it like this before we get the tear tape pushed down. And let's see here. That looks pretty good. So we're going to give that a good push. Okay. Now, we've got this piece of blue that was in the kit. This came, I think it was this size, so I don't think I did any trimming to this, but if you want to know, it is a 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and we are going to put that right here. So let's put some glue on this, and I'm just going to center this top to bottom, and we're going to do just like that. All right. Now, we're going to let that dry, except I'm just going to put an extra little bit of glue on this edge here. Because of that bulk of our string in there, it just needs a little bit of help. There we go, getting stuck down. Okay, now, we've got a piece of white here that came in the kit too. It is 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to stamp on this before we put this down. So we're going to stamp in some Misty Moonlight because that's the color of the blue. And we are going to stamp using this stamp of the month from back in January. I think it was, of Fabulous Sayings. And I'm going to do Happy Birthday. So I've already got that on the block here. So let's ink this up. Let me turn this around so I've got it right side up. Now, I'm going to stamp to the right-hand side because we're going to put our canoe paddle and our life vest on the left-hand side, sorry. So I'm going to stamp this more to the right, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to leave, whoops, shoot. I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to try that again. Had a little static to it. Okay, now I'm going to leave just a little border on the right hand side, and we're going to go down like that, and there we go. We've got Happy Birthday, so that's going to go here. And on the inside we're going to do, let me take that stamp off. I've got another one from that same Fabulous Sayings. Says Sending Love. And so let's block that up. Get some ink on it. And we're going to put this on our inside. So just down here at the top. Give that a couple seconds for the ink to transfer. And there we go. All right, put the ink away. You just do a quick look. I don't have any on me, so that's good. Now, we're going to get this on the inside. And let me get that onto the card and not onto our mat. Okay. Center that up. Okay, back on the front now. Let's put this piece down across the front. In the corner. I always seem to miss the corners, and then I find that the corners want to come up. So I try to make sure that I'm getting the corners, but I always seem to miss. All right, we're going to just center this onto our Misty Moonlight piece here. So just like that. And then we've got a canoe paddle. Not an anchor, Angel, not an anchor. We're going to put that there and then this on there as well. So let's put just a little bit of glue on like this part of our paddle here, because the rest of it is kind of going to be sticking off the edges, so I don't want to put glue on it. So we're just going to do just like that. And we'll glue this, some glue on here in the middle of it. And we're just going to set this down. I don't know, how do we best want to do that? Just, maybe we'll just make it, I can't decide what looks good or what looks best. Let's see. Maybe just like that, I guess will look okay. All right. And then for bling, we're going to use these iridescent gems that we had from, I think, last month's paper pumpkin kit. I'm just trying to use this little bit up so that we can get rid of the package. So we're going to put one there, one here, and we'll do one more up here. Okay, and there are the 2 cards that we made today. Very cute, very cute. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back soon with something. So stay tuned. Have a crafty day. Bye.